Thank you. Now, we open to the Q&A. Okay, we have one question from Italy. Hi. Oh, that's a nice setting. Hi. I envy you a lot because all that green. Hi. Ciao, Silvia.
Hello, ciao
Hi.
Raffaella. Hello. So I just wanted to ask Helena something that I really want to know something about her personal story because when you sent us the invitation, I Googled her and I went through her artwork first before reading anything about herself. And I couldn't miss the fact that when I got to the handbook series, I saw that the faces were missing. Some of them were just they weren't painted. Others were blurred or they just fainted. So I thought that it had to be a meaning. So I went back to her biography. And so I read her story, her being half Korean, half Spanish, and being born and raised in Germany. So a very mixed cultural identity. And so I went back to the paintings and I realized that in the paintings where more people are depicted, on the left-hand side of the painting, the faces are just not there. They are not painted or they are fainting or they are blurred. Whereas when you move to the right-hand side of the painting, the faces are well defined and you can tell that they are Korean. So what I thought is that does that maybe represent her journey, her path to acknowledge her Korean identity? So moving, so the left maybe is the Western countries, and the right is the Asian part of the world. So so Korea, where her mother came from. I don't know if does make sense to her. But then on the other hand, if you take that journey backwards, and so if you look at the painting from the right hand side and you move to the left hand side, you can also say that those symbols, the handbook, that they are a symbol of the Korean identity. Then when they move into the world, doesn't matter who wears them, doesn't matter who embraces this identity, this culture, but it has to be spread all over the world. And it doesn't have to be encircled in a country, despite what the main narrative now it is in the world and what is told us by, the most influential people that are ruling the world. I don't know if you understood what I meant and if this makes sense to you. Okay,
Yeah,
thank, thank you.
I think it makes sense. And of course, a lot of people wonder why I don't paint the faces in the handbooks, but it's always good to have questions when when you watch at a painting, when you see a painting and have questions. So, as I told you, I'm not the one who have to answer because the work is finished, and so I can leave the questions open, but what I told you before, I come from portrait painting. So portraits, I was really obsessed with painting faces and to paint them really very precisely, very realistic. And for me to not to paint the faces, to let them fade, was also a possibility to get rid of this kind of obsession. It's a very ordinary, maybe banal explanation, but at the same time, it was also opening the painting for a more, yeah, or painting the figure, the one who wears the hanbok, in a more representative, or the person is representing uh, more than the person might be. So it's really about who am I when I wear this traditional dress. It's telling more, I think, as if when I would have painted the face. So it's really, you can identify much more. It's really not about the person, not only about the person I paint by, but it's more like a meditation about who is one when I am wearing a traditional dress like a hanbok, or what does it mean when a figure, a person is fading in a portrait like this. So it's about presence, about absence. It's about evoking a presence that is not there, like in the still life paintings. It's evoking the presence of the dead people. So it's a beautiful method just um, to meditate or to have this kind of reflection during painting, not to paint things, but to leave things open and to leave gaps, to leave space. I don't know if I answered your question properly, but
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes. It's my first time here, so I'm not sure if it's a question or a comment, but thank you very much first, Raffaella and Helena. It was very, very interesting. I come myself from a very mixed identity. So I thought it was fascinating to see your painting. And at the beginning, it's just that I mean, you see very much the Korean and the Spanish influence. It's everywhere. But then I really like also your Grünkohl, because I think as a German myself, when you see that, it's really the typical vegetable that you have in winter. So it's just, I thought it was really interesting how you're able to mix your three identities in your work. And it's more than just because I don't know if everybody sees the German, because you see very much your Korean side and your Spanish side. But I don't know if the Germans comes up in other of your paintings, because I thought, I mean, the Grünkohl was immediately, as a German, you see that's very German. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. It's just more a comment than a question, but thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, maybe I am maybe more German than you see or you think at first sight, but as I'm really living here all my life, it's very much more difficult to approach from outside as I do to Korea, to Korean culture, or to Spain. So I don't know what would be typically German as also to integrate as a motive in my painting. So maybe that's the reason why I don't have obvious German motives in my work. There might, also, I'm sure that there is something German, whatever it might be, but me myself, I cannot see it because I don't have the distance.
Thank you.
I love all of the artwork, and I would love to have all and any of it in my home. But I just think I really appreciate that this Helena's skill, your skill is so obvious. I really appreciate that you step back from that and really focus on the colors and shapes that resonate with you, rather than focusing on the faces, which you feel aren't always so important. But I was just wondering if you'd ever thought about or been approached to work in couture, because you obviously have an incredible eye for color and style and shape and how fabric falls.
Yeah, thank you for your question. It's an interesting question, and it's maybe also obvious, but uh, though I'm very much into textile and patterns and color, I was never really interested in fashion or couture in the as a painter, because for me the all the handbooks I painted, they all have a narrative aspect, so they belong to a special person I know. If the handbooks belong to guest workers here in Germany, most of them I borrowed from these people, so they all have a story. So this is the most important aspect that I'm interested in. And second is the beauty. And of course, as a painter, you always search for beauty. And I mean, me personally, I do. If I paint flowers, plants, or hanboks, of course, to paint a wedding dress, it's just I'm enjoying to paint it. But the nature of narrative underneath is, I think, the artistically more important. So I'm not painting the hanboks because they are so fashionable, but because of the story behind. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question from here? Otherwise, I will read one. Let's try. Helena, I read one of the questions that we got from Instagram. It's from Alex, who asked, I think this is interesting because I never thought of it. Could you share an example of a piece that challenged you the most, either technically or emotionally, while creating it?
Yeah, it's a very good question because it's about the work in progress of a work. And let's see, I mean, to produce a work like a folding screen, for example, it's super demanding because it's a very different object than a canvas. So technically, I think this has been really a challenge. Yeah, but when I switch to the presentation, yeah, very difficult to tell. Yeah, I think maybe the narrative paintings like the nurses and the cranes or the double portrait, they are kind of challenging, or also Amitabha Buddha, because it's a lot about space, background, foreground, balance in the painting, composition of colors, composition of weights, figures, and yeah, it's maybe more complex than only to have one object in an empty space, like in the hanbok paintings. So not all works, but a lot of work bring new problems or point where you struggle. And I cannot tell you what kind of struggle, but it's always different. But it doesn't mean
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately this person is not with us to make any further comment. But I think the impression, I'm talking for him, but I think because sometimes the impression that your works give, at least to me, they are so well balanced, so well crafted also, that it looks as if you didn't go through any struggles in painting them. I don't know if this make any sense.
The real mastery is, or mastership is, when something looks like if it would have been done effortless.
Effortless, yes.
Effortless, but the struggle behind you cannot see. I think, and this is the mastership. And maybe it's not the one painting where you struggled, but the whole paths, or the whole until you came to the painting. I mean, this is the struggle that was not, maybe you cannot see it on the canvas, but it's always a kind of effort to get there.
Good
That's okay.
afternoon. Since you
Hi.
began the talk, we see the beautiful painting behind you, and maybe the red hanbok, and maybe you could tell us a bit more about the story of this one.
This one, of course,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it's a hanbok that I will show end of October in Paris in the Korean Cultural Center. So if it happened to that one of you is in Paris end of October, you're cordially invited to the opening of the show in the Korean Cultural Center. And the painting, it shows also a traditional hanbok from 19th century from a scholar, a male person. And what is new in the painting, I don't know if you can see it good. There are plants in you see plants in it. So I am kind of fusioning my interest for the plants and bringing them like on a the handbook is really like a projection space where I project another scenery, three-dimensional scenery in it that doesn't have to do anything with the handbook, but that's something new. That's something very exciting for me to use this flat, almost geometric object of the handbook and bring another layer in it. So maybe I can make a little preview here. Wait. I don't know if you can see it well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Much better. Thank you. Beautiful.
And it's painted on the page. This. Whoops. I painted it on raw linen, so it's not grounded, classically white, but it's raw linen, and this is also, of course, a reference to traditional Asian art, which often uses raw silk, or not linen, but silk and hanji paper, and you often have this quality of brownish, creamy ochre colors and tones. So yeah, this is also something a new quality in my paintings. And I often use raw linen instead of grounded backgrounds.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for your question. Thanks, Nathan.
So I had a question about your hanbok series. So just as a Korean, when I look at your work and when you're using these old masters technique to, I guess, explore, express stories and the beauty of hanbok, it's very like familiar, but at the same time strange to me. It makes me see hanbok in a very new way. And so it's so striking. And I was just thinking while I was looking at it that when I think of hanbok, it's kind of, I mean, it's something that we wear during holidays, but it's also kind of like removed from my day-to-day reality of what I think when I think of Koreanness or how I might identify with like just being Korean or what it means to be Korean in this world. And I was just wondering if you think that you bring from your mixed background, like a different perspective in how you, I guess, see or explore it in your artwork, just how you see this traditional clothing.
Yeah, my biggest fear was always to show my hanbok work in Korea because I thought, well, Koreans might look at it and say, so what? Because it's something so familiar and almost trivial. And when I came to Korea last time, I was really shocked by all these tourists wearing these really horrible, cheap hanboks at Gyeongbokgung Palace, and I thought, oh, well, maybe I should really give up and finish my hanbok series because it might look so folkloristic. So it's really no. So I'm very, very happy and glad that the Korean audience who saw my shows, and especially the recent show this year in Seoul, resonated very well with the work. So the feedback was really great, and that they see, as you do, it's something very familiar, but something then very new, or maybe it's this old master's technique I use, how I paint it, and the story behind that makes it striking or interesting or moving for Koreans also to see the hanbok paintings. So, but I don't know if I really answered your question properly. If not, please let me know.
No. I was, I guess, wondering if like your, I guess, exploration of that, how that informed or influenced just your own exploration of your cultural identity and how you saw that figured into that kind of, I don't know, like, for instance, like when you do that, like, do you have some kind of emotional connection with the artwork because you're exploring a part of like yourself that you like historically, you know? And I was just wondering what your thoughts were about like how this is a personal experience for you, is creating this artwork.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, every painting is a kind of therapy as well, and answering my own questions especially when I paint the hanboks where there is a figure in it, and the figure I know who it is, and it might be my aunt. She really often was my model for in the hanbok paintings, or my brother, relatives. It's really a meditation, a reflection about, or it's an approach really to the person. It's like writing a poem, maybe a kind of homage. My work is a lot maybe about homage and gratefulness, and what I received in my life and to show my thankfulness. And when I finish a work, it's really as if would have been to a therapy session. I don't know. And that's maybe the reason why the work continues and it changes, because there are other fields which I want to explore. And now the hanbok is not that much connected to my own identity, my own biography as a person, but to explore or to use the hanbok more as not a tool, but as I told you, a projection space to bring another narrative layer in it. It's very exciting, especially from European traditional art, like Flemish still life paintings, or these Madonna with child motif, which is so important and popular in Christian iconography, and to bring two layers together and really to get this fusion of two different worlds in it.
Thank you. I think this is the best way to end this talk now, right? Okay, then we can say class dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.